The year is 2024. You're at the airport, boarding pass in hand, the familiar excitement of travel bubbling inside you. You glance at the sleek aircraft, its wings gleaming under the runway lights. Boeing, a name synonymous with air travel, a symbol of innovation and, most importantly, safety. But what if this image, this trust, was nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion? What if behind the polished exterior lay a story of negligence, a series of decisions that prioritized profit over people? For decades, Boeing reigned supreme in the aviation industry. Their aircraft, from the iconic 747 to the workhorse 737, connected continents and carried millions across the globe. The name itself was a guarantee, a silent pact between airline and passenger. If it's Boeing, I'm flying. This trust, earned over decades of engineering prowess and unwavering safety records, was about to be shaken to its core. The first tremor came in 2018 when a Lion Air flight, a brand new Boeing 737 MAX, plunged into the Java Sea just minutes after takeoff. All 189 souls on board perished. The world mourned, offering condolences and searching for answers. Was it pilot error? A tragic, isolated incident? The investigation was just beginning, but an unsettling feeling lingered in the air. A crack in the facade of Boeing's impeccable reputation. 5 months later, the ground shook again. This time it was an Ethiopian Airlines flight, also a 737 MAX, that met a grim fate. The aircraft, carrying 157 passengers and crew, nosedived into the ground shortly after departure from Addis Ababa. The parallels were chilling, the similarities too stark to ignore. Two brand new aircraft, the same model, crashing within minutes of takeoff. The world held its breath. Could this be a coincidence? Or was there something inherently wrong with Boeing's newest flagship aircraft? The answer sent shockwaves through the aviation industry and beyond. The crashes, investigators found, were not isolated incidents, but rather the tragic consequences of a fatal flaw in the 737 MAX's design. A software system intended to prevent stalls had malfunctioned, forcing the aircraft into a nosedive that pilots were unable to correct. The MCAS, as it was known, had turned a symbol of innovation into a death trap. The world watched in disbelief as details of the investigation emerged. Boeing, it seemed, had prioritized profit over safety, rushing the 737 MAX into production with a flawed design and inadequate pilot training. The once unthinkable had happened. Boeing, the gold standard of aviation, had betrayed the trust of millions. But the story doesn't end there. The 737 MAX crashes were not the end of Boeing's woes. They were just the tip of the iceberg. In the years that followed, a steady stream of incidents involving Boeing aircraft chipped away at the company's once impenetrable armor. Doors malfunctioning mid-flight, engine failures, fuel leaks. The list grew longer, each incident a stark reminder of the company's fall from grace. The aviation world, once in awe of Boeing's engineering prowess, now looked on with a mixture of concern and skepticism. Airlines began to ground their 737 MAX fleets. Passengers openly expressed their anxieties about flying Boeing, and the company's stock price plummeted. The giant, it seemed, had stumbled, and the world was left wondering if it could ever regain its footing. How did this happen? How did a company that once represented the pinnacle of aviation safety fall so far, so fast? To understand the magnitude of Boeing's downfall, we need to turn back the pages of history to a time when the company's star shone brighter than ever. We need to delve into the decisions, the missteps, and the cultural shifts that paved the way for disaster. This is the story of Boeing's fall from grace, a cautionary tale of ambition, hubris, and the devastating consequences of prioritizing profit over people. To understand Boeing's fall, we must journey back to its roots, when its name was synonymous with innovation. In 1916, William Boeing founded the company in a Seattle shipyard, forever altering aviation history. During World War I, Boeing secured a contract to supply the US Navy with training planes. In 1933, Boeing's dream took flight with the Model 80, designed for passenger transport. The Boeing 707, introduced in 1958, cemented the company's place as a global leader. The 1960s witnessed a pivotal moment in Boeing's history. In 1965, Boeing made a daring gamble, pouring over $1 billion into the Boeing 747. The 747 was a monumental undertaking, a bet on the future of air travel. With its double-decker design, it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. The risks were enormous, but Boeing forged ahead undeterred. The 747 became a symbol of human ingenuity and technological possibilities. The success of Boeing, particularly during its golden age, can be attributed in no small part to its unwavering emphasis on engineering excellence. The company was a magnet for the brightest minds in aerospace engineering, individuals who shared a passion for innovation and a meticulous attention to detail. These engineers were not relegated to the sidelines. They were the heart and soul of Boeing. They were given the freedom to experiment, to push the boundaries of what was considered possible, and their voices carried weight within the company. This culture of engineering-driven decision-making was deeply ingrained in Boeing's DNA. It was this unwavering focus on engineering that allowed Boeing to consistently deliver aircraft that were not only technologically advanced, but also safe and reliable. The engineers at Boeing understood that their work had life or death consequences. They approached their tasks with a profound sense of responsibility, knowing that the safety of millions of passengers rested on their shoulders. Every calculation, every design choice, every rivet was scrutinized with the utmost care. This rigorous approach to engineering was evident in every aspect of Boeing's operations. From the initial design phase to the final assembly line, quality control was paramount. The company invested heavily in testing and simulation facilities, pushing their aircraft to their limits to ensure they could withstand even the most extreme conditions. For decades, the name Boeing was synonymous with trust. Passengers around the world boarded Boeing aircraft with an implicit faith in their safety and reliability. This trust was not built on marketing campaigns or slick advertising. It was earned through years of delivering on its promises. Boeing aircraft were known for their robust design, their meticulous engineering, and their unwavering commitment to safety. This reputation for excellence was reflected in the company's bottom line. Airlines around the world lined up to place orders for Boeing aircraft, confident that they were investing in the best the industry had to offer. The company's stock price soared, a testament to the market's confidence in its future prospects. Boeing had become a global icon, a symbol of American ingenuity and industrial might. This trust, however, was not something that Boeing took for granted. The company's leadership understood that it was a precious commodity, something that had to be earned every single day. They knew that one misstep, one instance of negligence, could erode decades of hard-won trust. It was this culture of accountability that underpinned Boeing's success. The company was never afraid to acknowledge its mistakes, to learn from its failures, and to emerge stronger and more resilient. This commitment to continuous improvement was what set Boeing apart from its competitors. In 1996, Boeing acquired McDonnell Douglas for $13 billion, marking a turning point in its history. This merger aimed to solidify Boeing's dominance but introduced a cultural shift. McDonnell Douglas brought a bottom-line focus, contrasting Boeing's engineering-driven ethos. Integration challenges arose, sidelining Boeing's engineering voices. The seeds of change blurred the line between engineering excellence and financial priorities. The years following the McDonnell-Douglas merger witnessed a gradual but undeniable shift in Boeing's priorities. The company, once renowned for its unwavering focus on engineering excellence, found itself increasingly beholden to the demands of Wall Street. Shareholder value, profit maximization, and quarterly earnings became the driving forces behind major decisions, often at the expense of the company's long-held values. This shift in focus manifested in a number of ways. Cost-cutting measures, once a tool to streamline operations, became more aggressive, impacting everything from research and development budgets to the quality of materials used in aircraft construction. Outsourcing, initially implemented as a way to leverage global expertise, became a means to drive down labor costs, often at the expense of quality control and oversight. The company's leadership, once dominated by engineers and seasoned aviation experts, saw an influx of executives with backgrounds in finance and management consulting. These new leaders, while skilled in maximizing shareholder value, often lacked the deep understanding of aviation engineering and safety culture that had been so crucial to Boeing's past success. The consequences of this shift in priorities were subtle at first, almost imperceptible to the outside world. Boeing continued to produce aircraft, and its profits remained healthy. However, beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to appear. The company's once vaunted engineering culture was slowly being eroded, replaced by a more risk-averse, profit-driven mentality. The stage was being set for a disaster. The erosion of Boeing's engineering culture was a slow, insidious process, a gradual chipping away at the very foundations of what had made the company great. Like a once mighty oak succumbing to disease, Boeing's core strength, its commitment to engineering excellence, was weakened from within. Engineers found their expertise increasingly questioned, their recommendations overruled by executives focused on financial targets. The principle of engineering first was replaced by cost-cutting and speed to market. This decline was exacerbated by a growing disconnect between leadership and workforce. Section 4. The seeds of disaster. A culture of complacency takes root. Boeing's engineering culture eroded, fostering an environment where potential problems were downplayed, warning signs ignored, and critical voices silenced. The stage was set for disaster. Section 1. Outsourcing, the illusion of efficiency. Boeing's aggressive outsourcing strategy introduced complexity and risk, leading to communication breakdowns, compatibility issues, and delays. The company's own engineering capabilities atrophied, leaving it reliant on external suppliers. Section 2. The price of shortcuts. Quality takes a backseat. Cost-cutting measures led to the use of cheaper materials, inadequate testing, and compromised quality control. This erosion of quality standards created a breeding ground for potential problems. Section 3. The 787 Dreamliner, a case study in overreach. The 787 Dreamliner faced delays, cost overruns, and technical challenges due to Boeing's complex supply chain and diminishing in-house expertise. It became a cautionary tale of overambition and unchecked outsourcing. Section 4. A culture of silence. When speaking up becomes taboo. A culture of silence emerged at Boeing, where employees were hesitant to raise concerns due to fear of retaliation. This environment allowed potential problems to fester until they reached crisis proportions. Section 1. The 737 MAX, a fatal gamble. Boeing modified the 737 design to compete with Airbus, leading to significant engineering challenges. The MCAS was developed to address these issues, but it proved to be a fatal miscalculation. Section 2. A flawed system, the MCAS takes center stage. The MCAS relied on a single sensor and could override pilot inputs, creating a dangerous scenario. Lack of transparency and inadequate pilot training set the stage for disaster. Section 3. The crash of Lion Air Flight 610, a tragedy foretold. Lion Air Flight 610 crashed due to the malfunctioning MCAS, killing all on board. The crash revealed Boeing's failure to prioritize safety over profit. Section 4. The aftermath. A crisis unfolds. Boeing's dismissive response to the Lion Air crash fueled public outrage and eroded trust. The Ethiopian Airlines crash confirmed the 737 MAX's fundamental flaws. Section 1. The high cost of compromise. Boeing's fall is a cautionary tale about the perils of prioritizing short-term gains over long-term sustainability. The company must return to its safety-first ethos and rebuild trust.